This podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only and does not provide medical or legal advice. Please consult with a qualified professional before making any decisions regarding your health or legal situation.
On the subject of marijuana in particular. That is the purpose of this meeting, ladies and gentlemen, to lay the foundation for a nationwide campaign by you to demand by law such compulsory education.
High in the Ozark Mountains, it's the Greene County Podcast with Mike and Mason.
Can we talk about giving gifts? Cannabis gifts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
Yeah. Sorry.
We can. But that's in a future episode. Today we're actually going to talk about where we are in our current grows. Welcome to Greene County Podcast. It's been a minute. We've been busy, so, doing life. And with two guys that partake a lot, you know what? Sometimes it's just, you need to step away from it. Either way, let's check in with our grow. Big congratulations to Mason, first of all, getting a new, beautiful home.
Mm-hmm. I've got all of the room to grow now.
So a big life change for you.
Mm-hmm.
How many rooms have you dedicated to your grow?
I'm not a full one yet, so we're good.
Yet, he says.
Yeah, I'm still moving in.
Mason used to live in it was kind of like a condo kind of situation.
Yeah, duplex.
Like duplex, yeah. And so not a whole lot of room, but he definitely maximized what he was able to do with what he has. And now he's in the homeowner space. Mm-hmm. It's a whole other world.
It's going to be life-changing.
So what are your plans? What do you want to do?
Well, I'm right now, because I'm in the middle. I used to have a really awesome automated setup. I told you about it, right? Smart home integrated Wi-Fi growing operation. It was amazing. Haven't had time to reset that up yet.
Yeah,
so I'm doing it old school, manual, watering the plants with my bare hands.
So bad you have to just go into the guest bedroom to do that.
I know, it's so rough. It's so rough.
Horrible.
But yeah, I'm hoping soon that I'll have a couple tents set up and my full automated growing setup. Hopefully soon.
Are you going to do like a veg tent, flowering tent? Are you going to do like cloning?
Definitely.
Are you going to do stages?
So I like to. I'm on the fence about growing autos. Or I guess I used to be. Oh, gosh. I never even thought about this. So I used to be on the fence about growing autos because I didn't have enough room. Because I had to have my special light cycle tent for my photo. Yeah. I got this strain I don't want to lose. So I had to dedicate like a whole tent just for that light setup. Yep. So I didn't have room or space. And now I do. So I might start growing. I've got like at least 5 to 8 different strains of autos. Seeds just
Let's
been
go.
waiting.
So
I guess that's what I'm doing next.
45 to 90 days.
Oh man, I have a brand new year strain just waiting to smoke.
Before we get back into your dream grow at the new place, what I have done, and this is kind of the schedule that I'm on.
Mm-hmm.
The typical planting season, so like spring, so let's say May to now, right? Yeah. Or May to October, September, whatever you want to call it. That is when I always do my photos.
You still follow?
I get my photo, my 5 to 6 month photo in that period. So then that is where I'm going to get my major weight for the year. I'm going to get my big weight off of that because it's going to take time. I'm going to make them get big. I'm going to bush them out, and then I'm going to flip them, all that stuff. With autos, you don't really have any control. It could be, like I said, 45 days from the point you put that seed into the soil to the point you're done, or it could be up to 90 days, but 45 to 90s isn't a whole lot of time, and you really can't do a whole lot in that period. But when I get done with the photo period, then I immediately do an auto after that, so that I supplement after. And then if I have enough time or I feel like I have enough time, I'll do another photo in between the two. But if I don't, I'll do 2 autos. So it's usually the big photo 5 month, and then 2-3 month autos. So it's about 5 to 6 months, 6, 2, 3. Yeah.
You don't keep a photo strain.
No.
Like you grow, turn and burn. You grow it and cut it.
Changing.
Oh, okay, interesting. See, I make clones of mine.
Yeah, and again, it's a space issue. I don't have.
Yeah, that
I
makes
only
sense.
have I only have space for 2 tents, And if you get into a situation where, like, now I have a bunch that are cut, and we'll get into my deal when we do my update, but like you got to have a place to dry them and hang them. You can do it in a closet, you can do it here, whatever. But since I like to keep it as a certain temperature and as your humidity control, and you don't want it to dry out too fast and all that stuff. So I like to have more control in that situation because I've had it go wrong. So I don't want to give that up. I could, and we'll get into that too, because a buddy of mine also is in the same situation as you, and he's recently discovered how amazing cloning is. And I'm like, yeah, it's great.
Oh, it's been
phenomenal.
phenomenal.
I mean, you never stop. It just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. And I
you never buy any more seeds
but
either.
I don't have the space. That's the problem. I just don't have the space for it.
I get it.
If I had enough space for maybe like another 2x4, 3x5, I could totally do it, because then I could just keep a mother alive in there.
I could get a 3x5. I've never even thought this big before.
I mean, you can.
Yeah.
They make them all. I mean, hell, they make little tiny ones. Like, I've seen dudes that have taken. I actually saw a guy that took the display model tent that like a grow store would have. They just put in. It's like a miniature. It's like, what is this?
Oh man!
And he put a grow inside. He asked if they could have it, and they go, "Yeah, what do you want it for?" Oh, whatever. So he made one of those like bonsai tree grows inside of it.
That's cool.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can do it. It's just where there's a will, there's a way. Anyway, we kind of went off on a tangent. We'll be back with Mason's dream grow setup when we return. Green County Podcast. All right, we're back now. So you have plans. Have you got everything that you want so far for your grow?
I moved into a new place. I had to rebuild my grow operation. Right now, it's bare minimum. I've got one of my 2 tents set up. So I have another tent I can set up. I have to get everything reconnected to my Wi-Fi smart home growing setup, because I like to set and forget. I keep an eye on it, but I don't want to just have to water it every single day. Sometimes I'm forgetful. Sometimes I'm busy. So I've got a reservoir with a water pump connected to a smart Wi-Fi setup. I can just literally say, "Hey Google, water my babies," and it's actually popping up on my phone right now. I got to stop it because it's not connected to anything. But I'm hoping that I can have a grow tent that is for my photo flower or my photo grow, right? Because it needs over 12 plus hours. I need that. I want a flowering tent as well for the photos. And then honestly, if I have a big enough tent for my photo grow, I might put my autos in there too, because they just need more than 12 hours. So maybe that's my perfect setup that I'm working towards.
I will give you a word of caution.
A third tent?
And
I don't know.
I know that your automated system works for you.
It does.
But the only thing that I have automated in mine are my light schedule. That's the only thing I automate. I like to see it. I like to be in there. I like to go down and check it when I have to. I don't do it every day. It depends on where we're at in the phase. But
yeah.
The reason I give caution is I can't tell you how many times that schedule's failed on me. I've checked in they were supposed to pop on at 6 a.m, and I look and it's 8, and then it said
really?
It failed. Somehow there was a fail in the network. Or
I
whatever.
never have a light problem.
I'm just saying it happens. So
I check it. See, so I don't not check it. We have different experiences. When you go in to check on your plants, you water them, you check all the stuff.
Yeah.
When I go in to check on my plants, I just like spin around in a circle because I'm so happy that I don't have to do anything. Check my water reservoir, make sure it's good,
and you walk.
And then I walk.
Yeah. It's like, again, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying just be careful, because I've had it fail on me. And it's just bleeding water into your thing or not or whatever.
But it's a freaking lifesaver when you go on vacation.
Do you ever have to deal with? Oh yeah, of course.
But I don't have to have anybody.
Do you have to deal with mold or mildew or anything in those things?
No, I tend to err on the side of caution. I have a very, very hardy photo plant right now. The one that I've been kept like literally since I first started growing, and I have tried to kill this on occasion. I think I told you a few weeks back, I topped it just because I was running out of room, and all the tops I just smashed into a random pot that I had some soil, and it started growing. I didn't even water that bad boy. It just started growing. I was like, well, I guess I have to start watering it now.
Yeah.
So I don't really have a mold mildew issue. Sometimes I have gnats, like bug stuff, but that's normal.
Yeah, with the water.
It's hard
to wet, yeah.
And I don't use a particular grow like soil. I'll grab whatever's handy, and sometimes it's just slop that they've pulled off of a.
And that's where you get your gnats at.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a good update.
Yeah.
That's a good future. When we come back,
I want to talk about yours.
I'll talk about where I'm at in the last segment of this Greene County podcast. Okay, we're back. Again, we are just kind of doing a check-in today on our grows and where we're at with everything. As I mentioned, I just got done with my 5-6 month photo. I actually used a couple of seeds that I got from the Treehouse 420 event that we did. I did in 1980. They smell incredible. They turned out great. They flowered really good. I had really had no issues with these. There was one that kind of got a nutrient lockout for some reason, and I don't know why because the rest of them were fine. So I don't really know. Like, again, I usually try to keep them all in the same, regiment. And so I can kind of tell if everything's failing, something's wrong. But if one goes, I'm kind of like, I don't really know what I did.
Could have been genetics.
Probably.
Phenotypes.
And again, they're out of the ones that I did, there were a couple that were like extra freebies that I got from other, like different seed guys. So I just threw those in, and those turned out really good. But again, like I said, the big part about this one is the weight to get back to a certain level, and then I'll supplement with the 2 autos that I do after that.
So, question, because you said you do your photos during what would normally be like an outdoor growing season. Is there a reason that you choose that time, or is it just
happened to be the way it worked out? And what I found when I was going, because we're doing this, I don't even know how many years I've been doing this now, but I think because at first, the first time I did my first grow was photo. And I liked, obviously, the yield I got. But then you're like 5-6 months in. Oh, my God, it takes forever. Because you do another, an auto grow, and you're done in 45 to 90 days. And you're like,
That's
oh, my
true.
God, your yield isn't going to be the same. It's just not. It literally cannot be that way. There are some that will. But it from more times than not, your auto yield isn't going to be the same as your photo.
That's okay, though, because the perks are there. Like, not only do you have... I would assume you have less of a chance of messing, like putting all your eggs in a basket, dropping that basket. You can grow a bunch of autos in the same amount of time.
Yeah, and I think ultimately too, I do it because it's kind of like that's the way it's like the natural feel. You know what I mean? Like I know when I'm at a certain point when it's growing, what to do, and I know like my regiment in my mind, I'm like, okay, we're at this point. I know then in a couple weeks I'm gonna have to do this, or you kind of like plan for it. You know what I mean? You kind of get ready for it, so that helps me. So I don't know, maybe it's just like one of those things, like to fly south. That's why I do it that way. It just feels that way.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense when you say it out loud because I'm stuck in a forever cycle.
Yeah, well,
I'm always doing all the stuff every time, and it doesn't stop.
And my buddy, who I was going to mention, he's in the same boat. He just got a house. He started cloning. He's like, it's the best thing in the world. He's asking me, if I give you a bunch of clones for your birthday, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Ooh.
That'd be great, but I'm like, I didn't got the space because again, I'm drying everything, and so I can't start anything until probably another week, maybe 2, depending on where I'm at.
Yeah.
I've gotten smarter. Too, when it comes to drying and curing, is I don't do it all. Like I remember that first grow, like pulling all that stuff down, and then all of a sudden it's like you have all this to trim, and it's just like, oh my God, it took forever to do it.
Oh yeah.
But then again, I now I stagger it. You know what I mean? So you have one plant one day, and then a couple of days you get another or 2 maybe, and then a couple. So it's not all at once, which makes it a little bit easier. But anyway, back to him. He's on the same deal. He's like, it just keeps going. I don't have to stop it. Just keep going. I just keep it going. And I think also that might be too much for me. You know what I mean? Like I feel like at the level I'm at right now, I'm always at the same weight that I want. I never really have to go without. I don't have to really work super hard because it's just part of what I do. It's like going to the gym anymore.
I'm seeing more and more why I am, in my eyes, automating mine, and why you're like, I love doing it by hand. It's like, well, We have different grow operations
and
completely.
Also why we do it, there are certain things that we get out of it that we like doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Maybe you don't really like spending the time down there with your hands and playing with them or trimming them or whatever that is. That's therapeutic for me. I mean, not the last trim. I always hate that part, but like the defoil part,
trim gel.
like opening up that tent when it's just completely green bushed out, and you're like, oh my god, and you're down there for an hour and a half trimming everything down. You know, I really like that. It's just therapeutic. It's like coloring. It's like building Legos.
Yeah.
I guess. So maybe that's part of it. I don't know. Get out of the house. I don't know. Going to the gym. It's the same thing. It's like why you don't have to, but you go and you feel good and you get out and you're like, I feel great. I'm so glad I did it.
Yeah. I had a memory pop up a couple days ago. I had one of my first public harvests. I don't know what to call it. Like I just had a bunch of people over to celebrate Harvest Day because it was that time of year, and I honestly didn't want to trim it all myself.
But
so I had friends over and they helped me trim some stuff.
And again, that's the way to go. Like there are guys that are like, help me do this, take half of what I got. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that you should, but at the same time, it's kind of like, well, if you don't want to have to mess with it, you shouldn't. And not waste it, too.
Well, I use that as like an educational thing because a lot of people I invited over, it was like their first time ever experiencing. Some of them never even seen a plant. You show a marijuana plant to somebody who's never seen one before, they're like, that's an alien plant.
I know. I had one, man. I had this photo one. They turned out really good. Again, the genetics in it were really crazy. But anyway, we'll be back here in a couple weeks with our next episode. As always, if you have tips, questions, tricks, your grow setup, we'd love to hear it. greencountypodcast@gmail.com or on Facebook or Instagram.
Everywhere. We're everywhere.
YouTube. But keep watering
the dark
those plants.
web.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Hopefully not. At least they haven't got any notifications that we're being we've been found on the dark web. Either way,
they'll never find us.
Use responsibly, and we'll see you next time. Green County Podcast.
So that our children are obliged to learn the truth, because it is only through knowledge that we can safely protect them.
This podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only and does not provide medical or legal advice.